Welcome back, Devils fans. I am your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils. And there's a couple things I'd like to talk about that have transpired over the last 24 hours or so let's get to it. Firstly, I would like to say good luck to the Adirondack Thunder. The New Jersey Devils ECHL affiliate will be playing in the Eastern Conference Finals while pursuing their chase of a Kelly Cup. So good luck to the Thunder. I'll be checking that out later on Flow Hockey. They have some really cool content on Flow Hockey if you haven't checked it out. A lot of junior games and things you're not going to get on any other channels, so I would advise looking into that if you're interested in that sort of thing. The Devils announced this morning they re-signed Kurtis MacDermid, the toughest man in the National. I did a video that dropped on the channel earlier today about that, so I'm not going to talk about it too much here, but check out that video if you haven't. I kind of go into depth. But glad to see Kurtis sticking around for protection, and love to see it. Love to see it. And so we go to last night's Game 6, the Eastern Conference semifinals, featuring the New York Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes. And my God, what an epic choke by Carolina. Up 3-1 in their own rink on their home ice with a chance to force a Game 7 after falling 0-3 in the series. I myself thought it was going to be a sweep, and I thought it was over. They find a way to win Games 4. They find a way to win Game 5, and they force it back to 6 in their own arena, and they choke. A 3-1 third period lead evaporated. Chris Kreider, a natural hat trick in the third period for the New York Rangers. Kreider's been getting it done for them forever, and he did it again. Tip of the cap to the Rangers. They found a way to win. I was hoping for the epic choke job, as some of you have been talking about, the reverse sweep, and the reverse sweep was not meant to be. The Rangers gut out a gutsy road victory to close out the Canes in 6, and they now await the winner of the Bruins-Panthers series, which may also go 7 now. Who knows? But I really thought the Rangers were done. I started texting some trash to some of my Ranger fan friends because they've just been giving it to me nonstop all playoffs and for years in some of the cases. But the Rangers find a way to get it done. Carolina with the epic choke job, which leads into my next point of after the game at 11:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, former New Jersey Devil and former New York Ranger, current analyst Kevin Weekes posts this here with the eyes emoji with a picture of Prudential Center. Very cryptic, very weird, coming a little bit after the game ended. A lot of people speculating as to what that may be. Weekes, a lot of people are they're accusing him of engagement bait or whatever people are calling it these days. And who knows? But I took that personally as when I look at that at the timing of the post shortly after the Rangers won the game, I'm now thinking that outside of this potentially being complete nonsense, I don't think it is. And I'd have to believe that Kevin Weekes has either heard or believes for some reason that the New Jersey Devils may be interested in Carolina Hurricanes coach rodbrindamour. And I say that just because of the timing of it seems strange. The Devils have interviewed a lot of coaches. Nobody's been hired yet. It seems like they gave a timetable of 7 to 10 days. Like, I don't know, at this point, it's probably almost 2 weeks ago. I'm losing track here. But with no coach hired yet in Toronto, it seems as though multiple teams may have been waiting to see if Brindamour is going to be available. And so with that post from Weeksy, I am thinking that he believes the Devils are going to show some interest there. And whether or not Brindamour would be interested, I mean, I suppose for the right money, Brindamour would probably certainly be interested. And at worst case, he would like to use them as leverage against the Hurricanes to get paid more money. But I think that's a very interesting scenario to keep an eye on, because Brindamour would be wanted by a lot of teams that are going to be looking for a coach. I would love to see Brindamour. If he does become available, he would become my new number one want of all the coaches that have been speculated. And a lot of people are thinking it could be Woodcroft. A lot of people, some of you pointed out in the comments that Woodcroft is a heavy analytics guy, and they think that, you know, the Fitz and the owners might like a like-minded coach who's obsessed with analytics. I hope not. As you all know, I do believe analytics have a place in the game, but I think they've been way overemphasized, and I am not a fan of living and dying by analytics alone, unfortunately, and it seems like the Devils are one of those teams that are going to do that. And so I'm hoping it's not Woodcroft. I'm hoping there's something to this week's cryptic post here that maybe brindamour could be in play for the Devils, and maybe that's why they hadn't hired anyone yet, because they're waiting to see how that all unfolds. Should be a very interesting weekend in the head coaching world. I mean, with all these names floating out there, all these people getting interviewed, I'm very curious to see where this all goes. But I will keep an eye on the coaching hunt as that plays out in the upcoming days. And then I just want to revisit something I'd mentioned the other day in a video yesterday, I believe, which kind of goes outside the box here with all these coaches. When I made the video, I hadn't watched the entire Adam Oates interview on Cam and Strick. I'll put the link again in the description in this video, but I put it in the description of the last video as well, and I've since finished the entire interview, which was kind of lengthy. And I'm going to say, and I actually might make a whole separate video about this at a later point, but Adam Oates has now become my number one. Before, I said that they're not likely, they're probably not going to happen, but my personal number one want was Larry Robinson. My number two was Adam Oates. Adam Oates now, with all due respect to Larry, Adam Oates has now jumped up to number one on my list. If you watch this interview, Adam Oates is a hockey savant. He sees things that no one else is even thinking of. He dissects the game. He's super analytical. The way this man talks about hockey, I don't know how an NHL team hasn't backed up a truck and been like, here's a blank check. What do we need to get you to come here? Because not only is this guy an NHL head coach, he has NHL head coaching experience. He was a former great player, Hall of Famer. He has the head coaching experience. And now, since he's done coaching in the league officially, he's become like a super specialized like skills coach, video coach, and does all these things with guys on and off the ice. There's no one out there like Adam Oates right now. If you watch this interview and you know hockey, I think your mind will be blown. The things that he talks about are just absolutely wild. I can't see any other person on the planet approaching hockey and looking at it and dissecting it the way that Adam Oates does. I think I am going to make a whole separate video about this because it really was some mind-blowing stuff. But he even goes into depth of, you know, Connor Bedard's injury may have been prevented if his stick was a different length. You just have to watch the video. But he really, Adam Oates is a hockey genius. He really dives in, and you see glimpses of it. And I don't know how other teams haven't tried to get him to be a coach. I imagine he's doing very well financially in this business venture, and I don't know all the ins and outs of whether he'd be able to keep this business with all the people he has working for him as well as be a head coach. But I'll tell you what, this guy should be number one on everybody's friggin' list. And if it was up to me, I wouldn't even need to interview him. I was already super high on him before I watched this interview that coincidentally just came out the other day. After watching this interview, my already high opinion of Adam Oates, my appreciation is at a whole nother level. Just watch the video and see the stuff that he talks about. It's absolutely mind-blowing, and the Devils should be calling him. Again, another one that I know is not going to happen, but I just have to throw it out there because there's nobody like this. He not only can he coach the team in the traditional sense, he can then work with guys on an individual basis to improve their game, whether that is, you know, little puck control things or off the ice stuff. But he's super analytical. He looks at every single thing, looks for any single thing to tweak or that he could get a guy to change that might give him an advantage. And the reality is, when you're dealing with top NHL talent, even if you can make a guy 3% better, right? Like his whole program, I think, works for a lot of the guys in the league, whether he's mentioned 7 defensemen or stars like Kucherov. But if you could get guys like Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Jesper Bratt, Timo Meier, if you could just get them 3% better, if each one of those guys became 3% better under the watch of Adam Oates, all those guys doing a little bit better on the same team would make the team a lot better. And he goes into detail talking about, you know, players need to be more aware to avoid getting hit, and when they're going to get hit, taking the hits the right way. It's mind-blowing stuff, honestly. After I watched it, I was like, wow. I knew Adam Oates was a hockey genius, but this is now on another level, and the Devils should give him a call. I don't think they're even going to try, and if they did, I don't know that he would even entertain it. But it would be a thing of beauty to see Adam Oates behind the bench again in New Jersey, now with an actual stocked roster of stars and rookies on the rise that he could actually mold and get to hopefully the promised land. When he was here in his previous stint, the team was absolute trash. And it's unfortunate, but there's only so much you could do with the team that, when your roster is that pathetic, there's not much you're going to do there, unfortunately. And that was the case when he was here earlier. But the things have changed, obviously, since then. And with all the star players we have and some of these kids, a guy like Adam Oates, I think he could really do something special. And he is now my new number one. Again, guys, I'm not saying this is a rumor. I'm not saying this is likely whatsoever. In fact, I'm saying the opposite. It is highly unlikely. But, again, this is my show, and I'm talking about my dreams and fantasies. And my dream and fantasy is Adam Oates behind that bench, because the things that this guy sees, there's no one like him in the league. No one like him in the entire league. But, looking forward to watching the rest of the playoffs here. Curious to see how it all shakes out. My bracket's taking a hit. It's not looking too good for my bracket. I had the Canes over the Rangers. Obviously, that went out the window. I had given up on that like a week ago, but then after the Canes won the 2 games, that kind of sucked me back in, similar to how the Devils did throughout the season with them making the playoffs or not. Out and in, out and in and out, in and out. It was just a wild ride. But that has now come to an end. I do have the Panthers in the Eastern Conference Final. I had them against the Canes, winning and moving on to the Cup Finals against the Edmonton Oilers, who are also now in trouble after losing last night, and now they trail 3-2 in that series. They're going to need to win 2 games in a row to advance, and it's tough, man. This playoffs, nothing is given. Also in the playoffs, we've seen some spotty goaltending here and there, and I think that's going to make the goaltending market a little more competitive for us when Fitz does go big game hunting and try to bring home the prize. I think there's going to be some other teams out there being like, you know what, we might want a goalie too, and there could be several of them, and it's an unfortunate place for the Devils to be, needing a goalie. But tonight we have the Panthers and Bruins, and the Stars and the Avalanche. Avs avoided being eliminated in their last game, forcing the Game 6, as did the Bruins against the Panthers. And now we're going to see. Will we see a handshake line or not tonight? I obviously love Game 7s. I'd rather just see the Panthers end it tonight. But I would love to see a 7th game in that Dallas Avalanche series. That would be something really special to see. And again, every Avalanche, well, not every game, but every game after they were down 3-1, it could be Zach Parisi's last NHL game, guys. It could be the last hurrah for Zach tonight, or he might live to see a 7th game. We will know later tonight. But throw anything out there in the comments about the coaching search, anything with the playoffs. Check out that MacDermid video. I'll put the link in the description. Also, check out the Adam Oates interview. That link will be in the description as well. But some good stuff. I'm working on some things to share with you guys. And happy Friday. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. I'm sure I'll be back tomorrow or Sunday, or who knows, depending on any news breaks, maybe sooner than that. But, yeah, let's go Thunder. And the playoffs roll on. Playoffs roll on. Call Adam Oates, Fitzy. Pick up the phone. Call Adam Oates. See what it's going to take. I think he can work a miracle with this team. I really do. I really do. Adam Oates is my number 1 selection at the moment. It's not going to happen, but I could dream. And that's it, guys. Throw it all out there in the comments. I'll talk to you all soon. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.